Hey, Dr. Dunaway here with Chiro Strength. I wanted to make a video about the blog that we posted on Monday. And the blog was about core exercises and why most people perform them incorrectly. And it just boils down to a misunderstanding of what the core is and how it functions in human movement on a daily basis. And we have this idea that if we have a strong core, we'll have a safe back. And while that's true, there should be a caveat to that statement saying if we train core strength correctly, we'll have a safe back. Because the sit-ups, the crunches, the leg lifts, if you're only doing these core exercises in this plane and there's no rotation component to it, you're not really doing much as far as protecting your back. And a really smart guy named Stu McGill says, show me a six-pack abs and I'll show you an unstable core. So just because the aesthetics look good doesn't necessarily mean you have a strong core, because most injury comes from uncoordinated movement, not a weakness or a stiffness somewhere, but the inability of the brain to coordinate muscles efficiently in human locomotion. So the crawling, it takes a lot of shoulder stability, core and pelvic stability, as well as mobility in the wrists, knees, ankles, and hips. And so when you have all of that mobility and stability component in one exercise, it requires lots of that coordination, and it's a really good thing to try. So when I have my patients do this, we are on hands and knees, and we start in this fashion because it's a little less difficult, and it kind of gets the pattern ingrained before we go a little more advanced. But literally all it is, it's crawling, but you stay on 2 points of contact. So this knee and this hand leave the ground at the same time and are placed back down at the same time. And the same thing applies with, we just walk forward and back, trying to prevent any rotation in the pelvis or the spine, and we try to move nice and slowly. Okay, so the advanced version of that is we get in that same position, but we just push ourselves back onto our toes. So now we are on our toes and hands instead of our knees and hands. Real simple. My shoulders or my chest stays above my hips still. So we're not doing a bear crawl where we're doing this. We're really sinking back into the hips, and as we walk, it's nice and slow and controlled. And so to start with, before you start crawling, I would suggest if you're on your toes and hands, just try to lift opposite hand, opposite foot a couple inches off the ground and see what it feels like to try to prevent that rotation. So it looks simple. When you perform this exercise, you'll really kind of get a good idea of what it's all working, because you will feel it working if you do a combined minute of forward and backward crawling. You can also do the side-to-side crawling. There's a lot of variations out there. But try this. Instead of doing the sit-ups and the crunches, try some of these crawling patterns and let me know how it works for you. It's a fantastic exercise. If you need to work some more of this mobility of the wrists or the ankles or knees, don't push it too fast. But if you have any questions, I'd love to answer those questions. So we'll be putting out more content. I look forward to hearing back from you. And again, this is Dr. Dunaway with Chiro Strength saying, don't just mend, transcend.